Coming up on this special Best Of edition of One Central Florida. Ride on a Central Florida attraction that takes you back in time with a taste of the Old West.
We're trying to share an experience of a turn-of-the-century passenger train that just like came to Mount Dora and Tavares.
Then, George Van Horn doesn't run from snakes.
Whoa. You can see they have a pretty good venom release. This is a rattlesnake, certainly not to be bitten by.
Plus, training for culinary jobs is giving hope to disadvantaged Orlando families. And get a glimpse of our antebellum past in the ruins of this Flagler County sugar plantation. All that and more on this edition of One Central Florida. The Orange Blossom Cannonball is a trip back in time to a day when the railroads were king.
We're trying to share an experience of a turn-of-the-century passenger train that just like came to Mount Dora and Tavares in the very earliest days.
Well, by the time you're done with this train, you're going to love this train. This is a part of history. These are real chairs on a real car that used to travel across the Southwest.
The steam locomotive was originally constructed in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania by Baldwin Locomotive Works in January 1907. Was originally built for an East Texas logging company, but was used all the way up into after World War II at the Sawmill Company, and then we acquired it in the 70s and have been taking care of it ever since. The cars have been reconstructed and restored to a condition that would be prior to the turn of the century. So they're very authentic in their nature, and we're happy to share them with everybody.
Engineer Roy Murchison has been driving steam locomotives for almost a decade.
Yeah, there's not very many guys in the United States that can operate a 1907 wood-fired locomotive. There's probably a handful. You don't actually drive a locomotive, not like a car. This is the throttle. This makes it go. These are the brakes. And this is what's known as the Johnson bar, or the reverser. When this is forward, the locomotive is going to go forward. When it's backwards like that, the locomotive is going to go backwards. Steam locomotive is alive. It's a living, breathing machine. And it's hard to explain to somebody that's never seen one. But if you come out and hear it, and feel it and smell it. I mean, you can feel it in your bones when it goes by. I mean, it's just awesome.
Today, the Cannonball runs between Tavares and Mount Dora. But this stately train has a glamorous history. She's appeared in 19 movies. Among them, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?, True Grit, Appaloosa, and 3:10 to Yuma. The Cannonball has been the movie set for a wide array of Hollywood A-listers, from George Clooney to Robert Redford. And it's thanks to Hollywood that the Cannonball now resides in Central Florida.
Back when we did a motion picture here, which we call Rosewood, and that was in the 90s, we were fascinated by the layout of the railroad and the little cities around here and its proximity to Orlando. So we thought it'd be a good place to be, and so far it's worked out.
Those riding the Cannonball get a true taste of the Old West, or at least Hollywood's version, where danger lurked around every corner.
We do have the train robbery. We call it the Wild West train.
We're going to be stepping off this boat. Take my outlaws with me. We're going to take the strong box with me. Anybody got any objections? Anybody going to cause a problem? You do, I'll fix the problem. Bring that strong box. Yeah, we got the
money now.
We got some paper money here. I can probably spend that someplace.
All right there, Shadow.
Boys, they got us. They got us, boys.
We ain't gonna take this no more.
Jailer, it's you and me. It's just you and me, Jailer. Folks, who thinks I can outdraw this dude?
I'm telling you now, don't do it.
Here in Lake County, you do the crime, you do the time.
You know, the good guys face the bad guys, and the good guys generally win, and the train departs intact, and everybody has a big time.
Oh, it was awesome. It was very authentic and definitely worth a trip. What do you think, Zane?
Well, I was scared of the bad guys.
It was super fun though, huh? Yeah.
Oh, it's great. It's really authentic, and they do a good job of a little education session while you're on the train about the time period, and it's just a lot of fun.
U.S. government property.
The main thing that I like about trains is the ability to share this experience with other people and to let them understand the unique aspects of trains and how they operate and how important they've been to our history. I think that's the big thing for me.
I've done a lot of things in my career, but by far this is the crown jewel, becoming a locomotive engineer on the Orange Blossom Cannonball. I mean, when we're pulling into the depot here and you see the kid, you know, with his mouth open and his ears, I mean, that's why we do this. It's why we do what we do.
Got him. I got him. Okay, we're bringing him up to the bottom.
George Van Horn has been fascinated by snakes since he first laid eyes on one.
My first thing was, give me a snake. You know, if I had a snake, I was a happy man. I was a happy kid. And probably when I was 7 years old, I was taken with the Cub Scouts. We got to go to the old Miami Serpentarium. And I see this guy, and this is what he's doing, you know, all day. He's working with snakes, and it looked like he was doing pretty good. I'm seeing a snake and a venom, and it was like, I gotta be this, I gotta do that, you know. That was it, I was cooked.
Van Horn learned to handle venomous snakes while still in high school. After earning a biology degree at Florida Atlantic University, he moved to St. Cloud in 1972 and opened the Reptile World Serpentarium, an old-fashioned Florida tourist attraction.
And that was the beginning. And from there, it's just been a process of building cages, getting snakes, putting up a building slowly. Everything was very slow, but you know, it's been a wonderful time.
During that time, he has milked thousands of snakes for their venom and supplied it to researchers all over the world.
The number one priority is don't get bit. Number two priority, don't hurt the snake. We try not to hurt that snake, you know, but he's number two, we're number one. And number three is get the venom in the jar. You want to catch that snake before he bites anything, and you want to get him to the vial so that when he bites, you get that good, you know, release of venom and that you capture that venom. We'll see what this guy does. By the time you get the snake to the collecting vial, he's pretty upset. And they're intuitive. There's many of these snakes have been on the venom line for years. I've got cottonmouths that have been on the line for 15 years or longer. And you get them out to the vial, and you'll just see them thinking, you know, they know that's not you. And suddenly, when they make their move, they'll try to turn around. They're going to try to get you, you know. And this is the king daddy of them all. These guys have actually been recorded at lengths over 7 feet. This is a fairly good-sized eastern diamondback, and she's been here for how long? She's been here for 5 years, 6 years. And I'm going to go ahead and let her bite the bile. Whoa. You can see they have a pretty good venom release. This is a rattlesnake, certainly not to be bitten by.
Van Horn has learned from experience that different species of snakes require different handling techniques.
The coral snakes, we bring the little thing over and we catch them right in his tray. The cottonmouths, we can actually bring the snake over and put him on the table.
Snakes differ in size and temperament, but they all use fangs to unleash their venom.
These guys have really long venom-injecting fangs, characteristic of vipers. They have a slit-like opening here, and they connect to a duct up here in the sheath, and there's like a pressure seal there, and the venom gland is over here on the side, and when they apply pressure to the venom gland, it forces that venom through the duct and out to the original hypodermic needle right there. That is the baby.
University of Central Florida professor Chris Parkinson has been researching venom for over 20 years.
Venom is a very complex cocktail of proteins and peptides, both inorganic and organic molecules, and we don't know everything about venom.
Central Florida is home to 4 venomous snakes: cottonmouth, pygmy rattlesnake, eastern diamondback rattlesnake, and the small but very deadly coral snake.
See, there goes that little drop. Can you see that?
Yeah.
See that little drop of venom, you think, wow, you know, if I got that in my system, how in the world could that possibly do me in? But that's just some really potent stuff.
They are milking hundreds of venomous snakes on a daily basis, and so each time they take that animal out of the cage, they're potentially putting themselves at risk for death.
In 1995, I had a king cobra bite. It was really a bad bite. It was our best venom producer. Put a 11.5-foot snake out on that table, and he came around. We had a school group out there, and when he bit me, he didn't just bite me. He bit me like 4 times before I got him off. It was a horrible bite.
And so, yes, it is a very dangerous job, but if they didn't do it, we would not have access to the venoms for research that is needed to try to come up with new drugs or try to come up with agents for molecular biology research that they do today.
It's a great feeling to know that what we're doing helps people.
And it is very, very important because a lot of researchers utilize that venom. It's used for antivenin production, it's used in molecular biology work.
My whole thing has changed over the years. When I was a kid, I wanted every snake, I wanted the snakes in the cages in my room. And now, I think I'm to the point now where if I could, I would like to take all my snakes and release them back to nature and just go visit them once in a while.
Coming up on One Central Florida, a local food bank is getting people out of the food lines and into the kitchen. Also, what secrets lie in these Central Florida ruins? Find out next. In the early 1970s, Sister Ann Kendrick came to Apopka to work with farm laborers and the working poor. Through her ministry at the Hope Community Center, she has partnered with residents and local groups to address social problems such as illiteracy, lack of access to health care, and economic injustices. She's changed thousands of Central Floridians' lives for the better. Sister Ann Kendrick, one to know.
I was in a very dark place in my life. I had a problem with, to be honest, with addiction, and I was fighting that, and I finally came to a place where I looked at my kids in the face and I realized I needed a change and something different in my life.
28-year-old Christian Vaca's redemption story begins in the kitchen.
I came here and everything's been going up. A drastic change in everything in my life, and it's been way better, and I'm loving life now.
Here is the kitchens of Second Harvest Food Bank's new culinary training program in Orlando.
It's really our first glimpse of not just feeding the line, but shortening the line. So getting people back on their feet and becoming self-sustaining so they can take care of themselves and their families.
Since its launch in fall 2013, the 14-week program has graduated 83 students.
In order to participate in the culinary training program, you have to have a need. There has to be some sort of record in needing food assistance in the past or running into some roadblocks in regards to working.
Okay. Nice job. We're just going to let it boil for a little longer. Done. Okay. We're training students that come from different background, or some of them never been in the kitchen, or some of them have never even cooked an egg or anything like that. You see right here? Flip it for me quickly. You burning the onions.
What made me pick this is I have a passion for cooking, and I want to make culinary my life. And I'm always passionate when I'm at home in the kitchen, and everybody is telling me, wow, you cook amazing, you should go to school, and I always put it to the back of my mind.
So even though you're working fast,
in addition to hands-on training in the kitchen, there's classroom work, where the students learn more than how to cook.
They're learning skills that'll make them successful lifelong. So interview skills, resume skills, financial literacy, and conflict management in the workplace.
I didn't expect that training, but I feel like that training is important because as we graduate from school and we go get a job and we don't have the life skills we need, then we'll lose our job.
We're going to toss them all up, all right, salt and pepper. We're going to make sure it's extremely hot. The oil is hot, skin side up. Christian has been doing awesome. All we want him to do is to be successful. And I can almost assure you that if he stays focused on what he's doing, a couple of years from now, we're going to have a great chef here in Orlando.
Second Harvest's program has placed 100% of its graduates in full-time, above minimum wage jobs. Michele Snell graduated in September of 2014 and now works in the kitchen of a Winter Park market and cafe.
I just moved into my apartment. I was looking for work because I had paid up my rent with my income tax. So I was like at the end of my rope and I didn't know what I was gonna do. So my church agreed with me that if I got into a culinary program, that they would pay for my rent while I go to school, and my goal would be to graduate with a job, and I accomplished it.
Michele was awesome. She did an amazing job on juggling all the situations that she was going through to come out on the flip side of that and be successful. She was amazing. I really have a lot of respect for Michele.
Other than worrying about schoolwork, I had to worry about them, how I was getting to school, getting to work, and picking them up from school and getting home, just everyday obstacles.
Yay, you're gonna make good pasta.
My future dreams are to have my own catering company. I want to be able to leave something and show my girls that no matter what you go through in life, you're able to achieve all your dreams.
My future looks great, it looks bright. I'm seeing goals in my life and dreams, and that's something I never had. My wife honestly told me the other day she's proud of me. That's something that, you know, every husband wants to hear, you know, coming on, especially being the head of the household and having to provide for your family. So they're very proud of me, and I'm happy that they are, and I'm proud of myself also as well.
The preceding story is part of WCF's American Graduate Initiative, bringing awareness to the dropout crisis and encouraging Central Florida's children to succeed. Hidden in the state park of eastern Central Florida's Flagler Beach lie the mysterious ruins of a cultural artifact that dates to the 19th century. At its height, the Bulow plantation covered more than 2,000 acres and produced crops such as cotton and sugarcane.
The Bulows showed up in July of 1821 when the United States was taking over Florida. We think they brought down a construction team from their plantation up north. And we think there were close to 300 slaves building this plantation. The Bulow Sr. was only alive here for 3 short years. We believe he died of yellow fever in St. Augustine. His son, who was only 16 years old, came over from Paris, France. The manager here was Mr. Francesco Pellissier.
My name is James Fisk. I'm the president of the Bulow Parks Historic Alliance Incorporated. Every now and then we do presentations out here. I'm Francisco Pedro Pellissier. I was born up in St. Augustine. He was the head honcho of everything, but they would have to have some slaves that would really take over duties and make sure that the others did what needed to be done.
There were only 2 Caucasians on the plantation. Therefore, the management were slaves too. And these were very skilled people. They had to be steam engine operators, they had to be chemists to make the sugar, they had to be quarrymen. There was a coquina mine near here. Those stones had to be pre-cut to fit. When you look at the construction of those stones and you reflect that it was done by slave labor, it's absolutely amazing.
These are the typical ruins left behind by the slave quarters. You can usually tell that it's a man-made feature because the rocks will be manipulated. We also have a nice insight as to this being the slave quarter because we've had some excavations done by a field school from University of Florida. And we're looking for artifacts, jewelry, tools, things like that that will just give us a little bit of insight to what life may have been like nearly 200 years ago.
Rising demand for sugar generated tremendous profits for young Bulow.
We're here at the sugar house. This is the place where the juice from the sugar cane would be brought to be refined into crystalline sugar and molasses. Behind me are the sugar kettles, where the process would begin to refine the sugar. Once that process starts and the liquid is heated up, it would form into crystalline sugar. Once that happened, the sugar would be scooped and laid onto cooling vats where it would be dried and stored for later use.
It was making about $20,000 a year profit, and that's big money back in 1830. Accounts said that Mr. Bulow had a wonderful wine collection. He had one of the finest libraries in the United States. The plantation house was quite large. It was actually 3 stories. It had central heating. I think they lived well. So he would have visitors from all over the world.
In 1831, one of Bulow's guests was naturalist and wildlife painter John James Audubon, who, probably in gratitude, fashioned a portrait featuring the plantation in the background. The Seminole Indians burned the plantation in January of 1836 during the Second Seminole War. To this day, evidence of the massive fire lingers on the crumbling coquina stone.
The burning was simple. Bulow, number one, wasn't here anymore. The Army had fortified it, built a big fort. The Indians burned any place that had been fortified. As a matter of fact, some of the plantations that weren't fortified initially were not burned or attacked.
The Bulow Plantation State Park has inspired a passionate group of local volunteers to help preserve and promote the historic ruins.
What we try to do is provide fundraising for the park to try to do preservation. One of our projects was putting mulch onto the quarter-mile trail that runs from the pavilion here to the ruins. We need to keep the natural looking as much as possible.
The history of Florida has almost vanished. The developers bulldoze, roads get moved. Right here is the heart of Florida.
There's a very, very important story to tell here, and it's a romantic story. It's a heartbreaking story. I get very passionate about trying to convey some of these stories to our younger generation so that they can be able to tell their children later on in life about this place, because who knows, this may not be there then.